Hey people, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. Another really quick important announcement in relation to coolant leaks and hidden coolant leaks you can't find on diesel engines. Only take a few minutes. Before I do, just give you a quick bit of feedback on these headlights. Bloody beautiful, right? Might not look so good at the moment. They're a bit dirty and dusty, whatever. It hasn't been cleaned, but as far as that headlight coating goes, right? And I didn't really go that hard on it. It's been out in the sun, it's been out in the app or whatever, but the point is, really good. So I used to give them a polish with the headlight, polish and stuff like that, and within a month or two you'd see it's getting 2, 3, 4, 5 by 6 months it'll look terrible and yellow. This Toyota headlight kit that I've told you about, really awesome. So there's some feedback for those that wanted feedback. These headlight clips, the loose headlight thing, I replaced the clips, but look, they still, doesn't take long, and look, see what goes on there. It's the clip underneath. Right, well, let's go check that one. A little bit of feedback, because I noticed the other day someone was asking, same thing, right? Someone was asking, and I said the way to fix it is replace those clips. It does fix it, but it won't be a year or two, and it'll be happening again. So I wouldn't worry about that bit of movement too much. Just ignore it or put something else in the hole. So there's feedback on two things. Now, coolant leaks that you can't see, because there's a number of people. This has got the missing rubber. It was like that when I got it 10 years ago almost, whatever it was. Some people have got coolant going missing and they don't know where it's going. Now, this is information for lots of different vehicles, engines and all that sort of thing, petrols, diesels, whatever. General information, but again, it'll be specific to this engine as well, but general for all the others. So you got your coolant level on this one. You can see mine's just above full. That's awesome. That's where I like it, full or just above it, anywhere up to the seam. But what you got to understand is the seam here. What you got to understand is in the hottest conditions, when you're in the northern part of Australia in summer and it's 45 degrees, more or less, 50 or 40 or whatever it is, every day, and it's hot and this thing's working and maybe you're towing, it's got maximum heat, maximum expansion, and it's going to push any excess out this hole. That's what it does. It comes past the cap and out there. And it may dry up and you might not notice it. In this case, it runs there and I get to see it around the back of the bottle, that sort of thing, right? So that's the first consideration where it can disappear to. You can see some's been coming out there at some stage, but not lately. And of course, the most common coolant leak on a 1KD or even the V6 or any vehicle in general, remember we said general, that water pump there. Water pumps leak on just about all vehicles eventually, sooner or later. It's a maintenance item. It's got a bearing. It's got a seal, that sort of thing. So if you look down there and you go, oh yeah, look on the inside of the timing cover on this engine specifically, oh yeah, there's no stain there. And you can't see anything anyway. It's probably not the water pump. So then you're looking around other places. Take this black cover off here and check your radiator. This has got the old original radiator in it. It should be able to leak soon. I'm waiting so we can replace it. That's not the radiator in front. That's the condenser for the aircon. The radiator is behind there, right? So I can't see any leaks there at the moment. But this is not about radiator leaks really, but take that cover off to inspect the radiator if you're chasing a leak. But if you can't find a leak, you're underneath the car, you're looking around, you've got your genuine coolant in there like we recommend, genuine parts, genuine coolant, and you're not seeing all that pink stuff that looks like that, or white looking corroded, or a little bit of spray, any leaks anywhere whatsoever, then maybe it's getting hot and it's just pushing the coolant out past there, and that'll drop it down. It might even go under the full line. So once it's cold, this is a bit warm at the moment, so it's going to contract. When this is cold, it's probably right on the full line, and that's ideally where it's going to stay given all conditions, right? But it could expand and push more out, and then when it cools down, it might be on the low line. And you might keep topping it up, and it keeps pushing it out, and keep topping it up, keep pushing it out. So you're just fighting the expansion factor. So what I'm saying is, don't top it up. So let it go full when it's hot, and let it go down to low when it's cold. And don't top it up and see what happens. Check it every day if you think you've got a leak. Definitely keep an eye on it every day, or every 20 Ks, 50 Ks, 100 Ks, whatever, you work it out. You know how bad the leak is, how fast it's using coolant. But if it does keep going down, then certainly top it up, and you've certainly got a leak. So pressure test it, see what you can find. But you've got to be very careful with this one, because what I'm getting towards is you could have a very rare, I'll say it's super duper rare, because I've never actually seen it myself, but I've got workshop partners and other people, posts we see online. Anyway, the E-jar cooler is what we're talking about. So let me explain that. Now, if you work on the vehicle and you forget that bolt down under there, the whole E-jar cooler can vibrate around. And it's not just 1KDs, the same sort of things on 1GDs and other diesels. They've got E-jar coolers, a lot of them, and they can break. So there is 1GDs also. So it's not a 1KD problem. So don't think, oh, you know, 1KDs. People have got this big misunderstanding. This is what we specialize in. This is what we love. This is what we tell you all the problems about, which is bugger all and low percentage, so that you can avoid those bugger all and low percentage things that happen. Make it a 0 or a 0.00001%, right? They're one of the best, most reliable engines. We're just going to tell you about everything. But it doesn't mean it's not on another engine. And it doesn't mean that all the engines aren't worse, because they probably are. But anyway, so it's definitely happened on a 1GD as well, more than once. It's happened on a 1KD. We haven't seen either of them here in the workshop. This is not about leaving the bolt out and having that cracked pipe at the bottom there. This is an internal leak. I don't know how or why it happens. It could be just a bit of luck of the draw with the manufacturing, the quality. It could be old heat, deterioration, whatever. I mean, this E-jar cooler here, it's done over 400,000 Ks. You know, what is it, about 420, 430 now? There's plenty of vehicles that have done more than that. And I have never seen a problem here at this workshop. But I know of someone that has seen, I've lost count, if he's up to 2 or 3, and I'm like, man, you must be just lucky. So what happened was, you know, he's working on the vehicle. So what I want you to do, if you're doing your own injectors or E-jar cleans, keep watching the videos, subscribe, turn the bell on, or you might miss this, or you might see this video later and then go, oh, I noticed that when I did mine. So what happens is, when he's working, he takes the E-jar elbow and all that off, and he notices some funny color. You might see a bit of water, a bit of coolant there at the back of the E-jar cooler. A bit of water, like look down on the, you know, on the back of the E-jar cooler in the hole, and just, you might see a drop. There shouldn't be any water anywhere near there. If you see a drop of water there, mate, you need an E-jar cooler, right? Unfortunately, yes, they are expensive. That unit there, up to, I'm just gonna say up to about $1,000 in Australia. So you might get it a bit cheaper, but I wanna set you up for worst case scenario, and there's gonna be more price rises. There has been since I've purchased them. You might get one from the wreckers. I would pretty well trust one from the wreckers as long as it's not cracked, just have a visual on it, not cracked on the outside. And the reason I would trust this part is because, like I said, there's millions of these engines, and I've seen thousands and thousands of them, and I haven't seen an E-jar cooler with an internal leak. Now, I know for a fact that there is some. We had one client who, you know, he did his own injectors and other work and stuff like that. And then at some stage, I'm not saying it was any time soon afterwards that anything he did, may or may not have been. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is sometime later, a year or two later, he's driving the vehicle and he basically cooks at 125 degrees. What's going on here, right? I think he put a whole heap of coolant in there. So this is how much coolant it was using. When it got back home, I hope I got the story right. Let us know in the comments if I got it slightly wrong. But, you know, we're just being a bit vague here anyway. Got the car, put some water in, got the car home, did some testing. Long story short, no leaks anywhere other than that E-jar cooler. He had it off, he plumbed it all up, put it on pressure, and it was leaking internally. So litres and litres and litres from this coolant system went through the E-jar cooler and through the engine and got burnt in combustion without even affecting how the engine was running, really. The engine got cooked to 125 degrees, and then he got another E-jar cooler, I think from the wreckers, probably a couple $100. That's what I would do. Fixed it all up, put it all back together, put coolant in there, got it running, it was running good as gold, no problem, and drove thousands of kilometers, and you wouldn't have even knew what happened. Now, eventually it did crack a piston. Was that a contributor or not? We don't know, but that's not the story, okay? What the story is how much you can cook one of these and it'll still be going for a while before something happens, and how it can actually really happen. And there's been other people. So what I'm trying to state, let's shorten it back a bit now. So we've covered all, we needed to be a 10-minute video to include all this information, but what I'm saying is, if you're topping this up and you're just seeing small amounts go, so what I'm doing, this is old, so I'm monitoring this. I'm gonna monitor our two 1KDs. I can't monitor yours. I need to do a video and let you know where we're at, what's going on, and we need to get feedback in the comments. Has anyone had this happen? What vehicle was it? Prado, Hilux? Was it a 120 or 150? What year was it? How many kilometers? Please let us know. How much coolant was it using per 100 kilometers, or what was it? You know, 10 mil every 100 Ks, or was it, you know, I could drive 1,000 Ks and it used 50 mil. Any sort of indication would be good. But I would suggest keep an eye on this, a regular check. I like to open my bonnets once a week and have a quick look, okay? If I'm on a trip, it's gonna be usually every few days unless I'm lazy, maybe even every day if you're somewhere like a remote place. Say you're going across the Simpson, you're gonna open your bonnet at least every day. Every night you're gonna have a look. If not in the morning, I suggest night. So if you find a problem, you can sort it out while you've got some time, because, you know, it might be midnight motors and you'll be working on the car. If you don't do any of that stuff, then you might as well sell the four-wheel drive and just go get yourself the Kluger, right? Because this is a four-wheel drive, and Bada bing, bada boom, you know how it works. The phone's ringing, so I'm out of here. Like, subscribe, turn the bell on, keep an eye on your coolant levels. Bloody phone calls. Didn't we tell them not to ring? Text. Anyway, not enough videos. Don't worry, he'll be getting a text in a minute, mate. Text me, I'm busy making videos. Anyway, that's all good. So I just wanted to finish off by saying, yep, seriously, keep an eye on the coolant level for a lot of reasons, like you should anyway. But if you do notice it going down, don't have a panic attack. This is why it's important to stay to the end. I don't want everyone to just go, oh, at 5 minutes or whatever in the video, he finally told us just replace the E-jar cooler. You know, someone will write that in the comments. Well, guess what, mate? You'll just cost someone $1,000 because they'll buy that, the coolant, they'll do all the work, and there'll be nothing wrong with the old one. So if that happens to you, please send us the old one and we'll keep them all here as spares. And when someone needs one, we'll say, hey, look, we've got 6 E-jar coolers from the people that don't listen and they went and replaced theirs when it didn't need it. So hang around till the end, listen to the whole thing. So what you would need to do is really monitor this. You'd need to know that there's no coolant going anywhere else. You'd even get to the point of, I would say this overflow, I'd connect a longer tube, I'd set a bottle here, an old, water bottle, a clear bottle, so that you can actually measure what's getting pushed out under heat, worst case scenario. Instead of losing it all, rightio, let it cool down, pour it back in there. Guess what, people? Oh, I haven't got a leak. I don't need to buy an E-jar cooler. I can stop worrying. Now, don't worry. Faith, not fear. Have faith. Don't worry about anything. Worry doesn't make any difference. So what you need to do is watch the videos, listen till the end, just like this one, and I've given you a solution to check, to measure how much water if it's coming out here, if that's what you want to do, right? I'm sure you can knock something up with an old bottle and a bit of hose that fits over there. You know, what's that? Bit of a inside diameter, looks like about, what, 7 mil, something like that. Anyway, 1/4 inch, whatever it is, something like that if you're old school and not a metric system. Worst case scenario, look, it's not coming out there. It's definitely losing coolant. So you measured nothing's coming out. There's no leaks visual anywhere. You pressure test it. It's not losing any pressure, or it's losing a tiny little bit and you don't know where it's going. And then you start the engine, it blows a bit of steam or it makes some knocky noises or something. Not good. Just be careful of that as well. Careful pressure testing, high pressure. If you've got that leak, because where's it going to be putting it? Into your intake. As soon as you turn the key, bush, more goes in at once, where normally if it's under normal pressure driving, it's a constant flow where it doesn't cause any issues with your engine. Actually kind of good, to be honest, but let's not go there in this video. That's going to make it more confusing. Yeah, a bit of moisture in the intake and the combustion can be good for combustion, but yeah, like I said, let's not go there. It's confusing. What you would then do, because you're pretty sure you've got an issue, you would then have to, yes, you do have to remove the fuel pipes, unfortunately. So, but you'd want to confirm before you dropped $1,000. So you kind of want to get it out and do what other people have done and set something up where you can pressure test it and make sure, or you might just pull it apart and go, oh, look, yeah, I can see the water there, blah, blah, blah. Park the car, get a bloody E-jar cooler from Toyota or from the wreckers and get it on there and happy days, right? So this is a really important one that people just, consider, keep an eye on it and send this one to your friends in case they don't know about it. One of your mates that's got a 1KD before it happens to them, because worst case scenario, there has been at least one engine lost because of it. And you know what? With all these problems that happen with older cars, I'm sure there's always a reason. Like I said, there's always a reason, and I'm sure that some of them are going to be having this issue, and some of them, just the one we know of, isn't going to be the only one that end in tears. Do you know what I mean? Now, if that didn't happen, that leaking E-jar cooler, and he didn't lose the coolant, and he didn't cook it to 125, maybe he'd still be on the other engine. I don't know, right? Maybe it was going to crack a piston anyway. I don't know, okay? But there's always a reason, and it could have been a contributor. It might not have been. Let's avoid it. There's your information. Hope you liked it. Smash the you-know-what out of that like button and subscribe, turn the bell on, because more info coming soon. See ya.